Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm going to go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. You're looking live at PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We got a good show lined up. We'll have JC join us in just a minute. Then we'll have Ben Ludwig, who's the owner of F45, one of our new sponsors. We'll have him on briefly, and I'll answer a bunch of texts today on the Titan More text line and all the messages on YouTube that come in overnight and on Facebook Live. If you missed it last night, Ben Shelton, youngest American ever to advance to the semifinals in the U.S. Open. He will now play Djokovic. I guess that's tomorrow. I don't know the exact time. Tommy says, good morning, everyone. Happy hump day. That's on YouTube. And shoot us some messages, some text messages. We're going to have JC here in just a second. Reggie says, Shelton is a beast. His serve and ground strokes are so powerful. Yep. He's a tremendous athlete. Been coached very well by his dad. I assume, Zach, is the sound working? We have people talking about the sound. Okay. All right. Give me a thumbs up, folks, if you can hear us. Andy says they play Friday afternoon. Okay, Friday. Get a couple days off. And NFL kicks off tomorrow. We'll talk to JC about that. You got the Chiefs and the Detroit Lions, one of the hottest teams to end the year last year. We'll see what they can get going. Want to welcome our new sponsors, F45, as I mentioned, Quality Plumbing and Radware. If you have a business out there that may be interested in being part of our program, tell them to, all right, thumbs up. That means we're live in action. All right, we're waiting on JC. Who knows what the hell he's doing? Gators have McNeese State Saturday night in the Swamp. A lot of good games this weekend. Probably the premier game is Alabama and Texas. You also got Miami and A&M. So we'll see how those games go. Yeah, volume's good. I appreciate it. All right, thank you. We had some people saying that it must have been that one person's computer that was screwed up. And we'll go from there. I got a million texts here. Let's get to the Titan MR text line. You know, JC would be fined a lot of money if he was in the National Football League right now. This comes from our good friend Tommy in Savannah, Georgia. He says, go Ben Shelton. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. This is from Ryan. He says, good morning, fellas. Shane, I was going to invite you to my local celebrity golf scramble, but I got a shit ton of yard work cleanup after the storm. And since you prefer that over scrambles, I'm officially inviting you to come over, clear some big lambs and debris. I can throw up a tent with some barbecue and beer and have some neighbors take selfies and ask for autographs, so it feels like a real celebrity scramble. Appreciate it, Ryan. Yeah, I'm not a big scramble. Hopefully you get your yard cleaned up from the storm. This is from someone with a 941. Says sound is fine on YouTube. Shane, watch out. There's an angry alligator behind you. Yep, pissed off gator. Hopefully the gators are pissed off Saturday night and it carries over. I got a question to our listeners here. I was doing a show with Steve Russell yesterday, and we had a bunch of callers call in. Is the Tennessee game one of the most important games in Florida football? I don't say history, but in the last 10 years. It just seems like a crucial must-win game for them. Andy asked, Shane, who are the Chiefs going to miss more, Chris Jones or Kelsey? Ooh. I bet Kelsey plays. He just has a hyperextended knee. I don't know what's wrong with Chris Jones, but he's a beast in the middle. That's a great question. Great question. Tommy says, Shane, do you still think we can win 7 or 8 games? Look, if they come out and they're aggressive and throw the football, look, I saw Twitter. I've been staying off Twitter, but I saw these people talk, Gators need to get back to what they do. Bull crap. Do what you do better, and that's throw the football. You know, if you throw the football well, it will open up running lanes. But for the time being, get the ball in playmakers' hands. Let's go fast. Let's play fast. JC, you're fined quite a bit of money, my friend. And I see that you got your Deion Sanders loving Colorado Buffalo Ralphie hat on.
Well, that was they were a big story on week one. And I mean, let's be honest, dude, neither one of us saw that coming. And I know
No,
it's Wednesday and, this last weekend is long gone, but I just got to say that your beloved Clemson Tigers are not going to win the ACC.
whoa, they're bad.
And
They look worse than the Florida Gators. Well, I take that back. Their game was very equivalent to the Florida Gator game
well,
because statistically and going up and down the field, Dabo said he's never seen a game like that before. I have to agree with him. They had a lot of bad stuff. I don't think they're a very good team, but they should have won the game. Give Duke
well,
credit. Give Duke credit.
that listen, man. I mean, Riley Leonard. Duke won 9 games last year. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Duke, but I took them. I took them to win that game. And that gummit, I left my. Did you look at our sheet on how we did? I know we didn't talk about this on
No,
Monday.
that's your job. You have one job and one job
Okay.
only.
All right,
is to
I got
keep
it.
good stats.
Well, I have it. I have the list of how what our picks were. I do remember I took Duke. I also took Florida State. That did not surprise me like it did everybody else. And I think you're looking at some surprises after week one for sure. But I don't know if they talk about week one being the overreaction week of the year where everybody sees one game and then makes an assessment on how the rest of the year is going to go. I'm not delusional about Colorado. I will tell you they're a heck of a lot better than 3 wins, though. I think they've got 3 wins. I think they're going to win this weekend at home. Colorado has sold out all of their home games, and they have sold 70% more merchandise than they did this time last year. That's a huge growth rate, and you have to give them credit, like them or not, but the guy had his team ready to play. So that's the thing you have to look at is who was ready to play in week one and who wasn't. And
Yeah, I agree with that. I did talk to a friend of mine who has a kid on the team at TCU. He told me that he didn't think TCU was very good. They only had 3 starters back from last year's team. Colorado gave up over 500 yards. We'll see.
how many
I'm
starters
not
did
going to
Colorado
overreact. Give
have?
them credit.
Yeah,
Give
I
them
mean,
credit.
how many starters did Colorado have last year? And yeah, TCU had a really good team. I mean, starting at the quarterback last year and the running back. But dude, we're talking about a completely remade roster. There's something like 60 new players on Colorado's roster. So it's exciting to see a quarterback, count for 500 yards. How about the kid at Alabama? 3 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing. That had never happened in a debut as a starter.
Are you nervous about the game this week?
Well, I'm not really because they're playing a game in Tuscaloosa, and I think this kid Milroe might be better than.
But JC, did you see? I mean, look, I'm just never done what he did, but throwing the football, I still have serious concerns because majority, people want to criticize any quarterback that throws wide receiver screens for whatever reason. I don't know why people think that, but that's part of an offense.
Yes, it is.
I'm just not sure that I think they're going to line up and run the football. But his throw game does concern me. Dan says, JC, the price tag is still on that hat. Team bandwagon.
Yeah, absolutely bandwagon. I mean, if you don't want to get on it now, go ahead and watch them have fun. It's fine. I don't care. This is Colorado. And this kid Sanders was playing at Jacksonville State last year. Jacksonville or Jackson.
That would be Jackson State.
I'm sorry, Jackson State. I mean, this guy wasn't even sniffing the Power 5. And what about that Pac-12, man? Including these guys, 13-0 QB, and they're not even going to exist. They're not even going to exist next year. So, and by the way, one of the 2 teams that will exist next year, if there is a Pac-12, which there won't be, or it could be the new Mountain West, is Oregon State. And don't you sleep on those guys. We all know about Oregon State around here. And that quarterback that played for Oregon State had a hell of a lot more fun this past weekend than the kid that replaced him at Clemson. So, there were a lot of surprises, man. That's what I took, was that the whole weekend was full of surprises. We've got a slate this weekend that is a heck of a lot more intriguing, I think, with the games coming up, including the one you just mentioned with Alabama and Tennessee. But I'm interested in that Texas A&M Miami game. I think that's going to be fun to watch, see what Miami can do. I think the Arizona Mississippi State game could be good because I think the Arizona team has improved dramatically. And I was just out in Berkeley, California, and Auburn is going to Berkeley, freaking California. Now, I don't know how that all worked out, but that's going to be interesting as well. That world out there, dude, it's just so different than anything you've experienced around here. And I think Auburn's going to be in for a fun trip out there. I think they'll win too, but I do think it'll be a little bit more difficult than you might have thought 2 weeks ago.
Tony says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon. Everybody wear your swinging Gator stuff Saturday. Tony, yeah, Fred Biondi is going to be Mr. Two Bits, your national champ, also individual national champ. The golf team will be recognized, but they have. I know Tony loves the swinging Gator like myself, but they have Peter Millar shirts at the UF golf course with the swinging Gator on it.
They
now.
should.
So Tony, I'm just letting you know if you're in town, you may want to swing by the Bostic and get you a couple of those. They ain't cheap. They ain't cheap.
I wore my swinging Gator shirt at the Utah game, and it didn't give us much luck. But I'm going to go buy one of those down at the pro shop.
What do you think they cost, JC?
I'm going to guess somewhere around $123.
Yeah, about 125-ish.
Yeah, so. and that's about right. I mean, look, man, that's that they can really monetize that thing. And I agree with the who was that, Tony, that said that?
Yeah.
Man, just raise the roof when you see those kids walk out there.
Well, here's the thing that I'm going to make this announcement, and I may get in trouble, but I don't really care.
Okay.
You know, when the Gators won the national title, and this swinging Gator has been around for years, but only Gator golf boosters and guys on the team got to wear it. Well, they finally got smart and started selling it.
Yeah.
However, the golf team doesn't get anything from it. It all goes to the UAA. And I firmly believe that a percentage of any swinging Gator item that's sold should go to the Gator golf teams, women and men.
I agree
so
too. I don't think you're being very controversial at all. I think you're saying something that makes complete sense, and how that doesn't help the Gator golf team. But I don't think the Gator golf team or anybody at the University of Florida will be ever under financial duress. And so, So UAA is going to take care of them. I'd love to see one day plans for a new home course. Not because I don't like the University of Florida course, but because it needs to be better for a national championship type program and for a coach who won a national championship to be able to recruit great players there continually and consistently. And I think a new course would help that happen with better practice facilities and on and on and on. And I don't know why that can't happen here. It should. So maybe I'll get in more trouble than you by saying they're dropping the ball by not giving that team what it should have. I don't guess they really need it because they show they could win without it, but maybe they caught lightning in a bottle.
Oh no, they need a new facility.
They definitely.
By the way, I met the number one 2025 or 2026 golfer in America out at the golf course Monday with JC Deacon. Was showing him around. Little kid from Hawaii, JC. He couldn't have been a $125. But he's the number one player in America.
Okay. Well,
yeah, he was on his visit.
You talk about 6 time zones and somewhere completely different. How they found him or how? Well, I know how. You win a national championship and you start getting the phone ringing. And good for JC. And go out there, guys, and give them a standing ovation when you see them. It'll be one of the highlights of the McNeese State game. The other one should be Florida looking a lot better as they should against a team like that. So
it could be a fun night. Is so bad. They're so bad.
I mean, this is a great practice for Florida before the real team rolls in here. I would be highly concerned if they were playing McNeese in 2 weeks and Tennessee this week.
Yeah. Alan says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law. Shane, do you think we're rotating players too much? It seems every other play that kills momentum. Yes, I agree with that.
You know what?
Rick says $125 for a shirt sounds like corporate greed. No, it's high quality. It's probably the premier golf shirt in the business.
It's what the market wants. I mean, who said
Yeah,
that?
Michael Burton says, sad to hear about Coach Holland. Yeah, I spoke about that yesterday. Lawson Holland, former Gator coach, passed away at the age of 70
Got a
over the weekend.
So one of the reasons why I was 4 minutes tardy this morning is because I stayed up to watch Ben Shelton last night. And
I went to bed after like the first set. I couldn't stay awake.
Did you mention Ben before I got on?
Well, I did. He's going to be playing the Joker. And
let me tell you, last night, this kid made some shots when he could have easily lost his third set. He was in. I just have to say this because I watched it. He was in a tiebreaker, 7-point tiebreaker. He had double faulted twice in a row to fall behind and face set point, meaning the other guy, Francis Tiafoe, had set point. And he hit a forehand shot into the corner behind Tiafoe that champions hit. These are the shots that you see the great ones hit. And he hit that shot to tie the tiebreaker. He went on to win the tiebreaker third set. He won 6-2 or 6-3 rather, in the final set, the fourth set. The match ended at 12:30 in the morning. It was over 3 hours and 25 minutes. They played in conditions where they literally had to wipe themselves off, it just bothered the hell out of me. Why they don't put the roof on and put the AC on is beyond me. I'm not looking for survival of the fittest here. I just want to see great tennis. But in spite of that, in spite of all the wiping themselves off in between points, Ben Shelton beat the 10th seed in this tournament, one of the best in the world, and is now going to play the best in the world.
The greatest of all time, probably.
Anybody who argues that and says that I don't know tennis, I had an argument with a guy who told me that I was wrong about that, and that's just flat out malarkey. Okay, 23 Grand Slam titles. He wasn't allowed to play in 2020, and he's been in. Now this is the bigger stat to me: 47 semifinal Grand Slam events. So he has been in half of the Grand Slam events that Novak Djokovic has played in, from the war-torn country of Serbia, okay, which used to be Yugoslavia. He has been in a semifinal half the time. If you think about that for about 30 seconds of solitude and think about half of the Grand Slams, and this guy's made semifinals, of all the Grand Slams, this guy's made semifinals half of the time, 47 times. That will never be broken. This guy is the greatest of all time. And look, Ben Shelton is ready to go. He's smiling. His dad, Brian, who runs around here at the great golf course, the only golf course we have here that's open to the public without being an alumni of somewhere, plays golf here. He plays golf here. And my God, we've got Gainesville being represented on the world stage, all right? Not just Utah, but on the world stage. And speaking of Utah, I mean, nice little program they got up there. There's no doubt about it. That's about all I'm going to say. I don't want to bring it up anymore. It's far in the past. And we did talk about it out in Utah back on Friday of last week briefly. But listen, Brian Shelton are representing Gainesville quite well. And I thought last night was it was the biggest win of his life last night.
Oh, yeah, there's no question about it. We got a couple of YouTube questions brought to you by Quality Plumbing, residential and commercial plumbing services and emergency repair since 1984. Our name says it all. Zach says, do you think we get to host college game day against Tennessee? I heard that that's a possibility because there's not really any other so-called big games in the country. Florida Boy says, I agree with you, Shane. Play Pearsall, Douglas, and Wilson. When they get tired, put somebody else in. Yeah.
Got to play Wilson, man.
Those would be my three receivers, and go from there.
I mean, I like Douglas, but I like Wilson better.
Patrick says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. It's a sport that requires supreme physical condition, Johnny. Fitness is a huge variable for greatness. That's why Djokovic is in that conversation.
It's not a conversation. He's the best ever. That's the story. The only other game could be Washington and Michigan State. No, I think there's a great chance Florida and Tennessee get game day, because he's right. Looking at that week 3 schedule is it's pretty bad. So that's
terrible.
Happen is so that could happen next week. They are in Tuscaloosa, and I tell you, that's going to be a fantastic game to watch. I'm really looking forward to next weekend. This upcoming weekend. I think it's going to be a tremendous football to watch. And, LSU, I just want to bring them up real quick. Brian Kelly talking about that's not the team we thought I had. Well, if Brian goes 8-4 again this year, what do you think the Cajuns are going to be thinking about over there? Win or not? I don't think they're going to be very happy.
Well, where'd they go last year? Didn't they win 10 games last year?
They did, but they lost 4. No, I think they won 9. I think they won 9 games. They lost 4 times. And, Florida State just pushed them around in the second half. That's not what you do to a very athletic team. That's supposed to win the SEC West. So we'll see. We'll see if they get better. I think they will, but right now, Clemson and LSU have to be the biggest disappointments. The SEC lost 3 times this past weekend. The 2, Florida, LSU, and then South Carolina. And by the way, let's hand it to North Carolina. Looked good, looked solid. And the ACC looked okay. I don't think the ACC had a bad weekend at all, especially against the SEC. They were 2-1. So, yeah.
Yeah. Alan says on Facebook Live, JC, your Rammer Jammer is going to lose to 2 teams, Tennessee and A&M. Bama's score won't show the real game if you know football and watched.
No, listen, they're playing Middle Tennessee State. I was out west. I expected everything that happened. Quarterback had a good game. In fact, they played all 3 quarterbacks. Defense did its job. No glaring weakness on special teams. They're going to play Texas at home. You want to take Texas, my man, whoever that is? I'll bet you straight up for a bay.
Straight up, JC. Why straight up?
Well, it's winning and losing right now we're talking about. You and I will talk about the point spreads later, but Big Shot over there was talking about Texas beating them. Oh, no, he said Texas A&M. Well, if that happens, and I would be a little bit more concerned if I'm an Alabama fan about the A&M game because it's in College Station, but Tennessee's coming to Tuscaloosa. That's a revenge game. I'll take my chances with that.
1966 HBC beers available at Spurs Gridiron Grill, Gator Games in the Swamp, and select retail outlets. Crisp American Lager. That's 1966 HBC beer. You like the other one better, right, JC?
Yeah, 5220 is a pale ale.
Are you drinking it right now? Is that what you're going to show us?
No, I'm drinking a bay, but I'm trying to get used to the time change, man. I took the red eye. And wow, that was I know not. Did you like your red eye flight, by the way?
My red eye was great.
Yeah, I had an active day before I got to the airport, so it was a little rough for me. And I don't sleep well, even in first class. Those seats don't go back far enough. But listen, man, Delta did a great job, and it's a long way out west, man, folks. Auburn's going to get all of that this week. They're going to a place I literally drove by less than 48 hours ago at Cal Berkeley, who won, by the way. California won their game. The Pac-12 won all their games, all of them. So the only team that you have to really kind of scratch your head about is Arizona State, who struggled with Southern Utah. But, man, Colorado's still a Pac-12 team. And that was the story of the weekend. There's no doubt. 501 yards for that quarterback. Come on. I know TCU is not the greatest, but I don't even know if Tommy Brockermeyer played in that game. But they got a lot of new players, and so so does Colorado. And
John, again, yeah, okay, we're done talking about them.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm over.
John on Facebook Live says it's sad that Tennessee's coming here and will be a heavy we will be a heavy underdog. JC,
well,
Tennessee has not won. Look, Tennessee has not won here. I think since Coach Spurrier's last game. Is that correct?
Forever. It's been forever.
Yeah. What do you think we're going to be a huge underdog, or what would you guess the point spread would be?
3 to 4 points.
Yeah, that's what I think.
3 to 4 points, and it's amazing, folks, how things change on a week-to-week basis. Just know this: Tennessee could come out next week or this upcoming weekend, and they'll probably score 50. But remember, they are not being challenged at all by Austin freaking P. Okay, they're not being challenged. They're just tuning up. Florida probably is just going to be tuning up in spite of what happened last weekend. That Utah team is a pretty darn good team. McNeese State and Austin P are just practices. They're just practices for the big event, which happens in week 3. These games are where Florida has to show some things to the fans more than anything. I think they know they can beat this team with their eyes closed, and they should.
Yeah. Titan MR text line, Brett in Jacksonville says, Shane, we need to use Wilson like we did Percy.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give him the ball, but you can't put him in the backfield and hand it to him. He's not as big as Percy was. Not even close.
No, that's true.
On YouTube, which is brought to you by Quality Plumbing, Clint says, does A&M beat Miami and Ole Miss beat Tulane? I think A&M is going to beat Miami convincingly. Ole Miss is in for a ball game.
They're in for a battle, man. 3:30 in the Superdome.
Are they playing in the Superdome?
Oh, maybe it's not in the Superdome.
They don't play in the Superdome.
You're right.
Anymore.
They sure don't. They sure don't. No, excuse me. It'll be at Ullman Stadium. My bad.
Yeah, you don't roll into Ullman Stadium and walk out of there with an easy victory.
No, Tulane, man. They got the quarterback. That's going to keep them in the game.
Michael Pratt.
Michael Pratt will keep them in the game. And then Miami and A&M. Yeah, I agree with you there, QB. I gotta see it to believe it for Miami. But I always said Florida State was going to be good this year from the very beginning. They're definitely a favorite to win the ACC.
You know why? You know why they're a lot better, in my opinion? Because of one player.
Well, Keon Coleman was the guy I tried to mention to you. You blew me off like I was talking to the Magnolia.
They just got him like a couple months ago, JC.
I know,
what are you talking about?
It makes Jordan Travis better. It makes the other guys better. He's a monster. And listen, they got dudes over there at Tallahassee, and it's not a secret. And by the way, that kid at Duke, that Leonard, good Lord,
he's slated to be a first-round pick.
You see how fast he was? I mean, come on. That coach Elko won 9 games last year at Duke. I should be wearing a Duke hat. I'll go get one of those.
Yeah, you need to get a Duke hat.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we get out of here and get to our guest, Ben Ludwig from F45. JC, you going to go work out at F45?
Sure. Well, when are we starting? Today, tomorrow, next day?
You want to go do it? All right. Michael wants to know, will Kingsley be back at center for Tennessee? I would expect he will. But Chris has a question here. He says, Shane, who is better quarterback, Mertz or Stetson Bennett? Okay. That you can't really compare them because Stetson, I mean, look,
that's not
everybody knows that I was a huge fan of Stetson Bennett's before he became a starter, because I watched him play that one game when he came off the bench against Arkansas when they were losing, and you could tell right then this dude knows what he's doing. So it's hard to tell. I mean, Stetson had great players around him. Mertz did not at Wisconsin. He's got better players around him here. I think he's a damn good college quarterback. But, I mean, you got to say Stetson's won 2 national titles back to back.
He also lost to Alabama twice. But yeah, I think he's great, man. I think Stetson. Look, he's a Ram too, by the way. The Rams.
But you don't like the Rams anymore.
Well, I'll root for him. But Stetson. He made the team. Okay, he made the team. But Mertz, folks, will be a guy you watch this weekend and control the game. I guess, albeit a Division II basically team. But this is a game that's going to have to get Florida ready for next week, because that Tennessee game is maybe one of the biggest Florida's had, because for Billy Napier, it might be the biggest game he's had as a head coach to get the Wolves away from the hen house. You don't want to be 1-2, QB. You know as well as I do. So.
Yeah. All right, JC, we got to get out of here. Real quick, Who do you have tomorrow night in the NFL kickoff?
That news with Kelsey, it's hard to bet against Kansas City in spite of that news with Kelsey, but I'm going to take something very strange and take the Detroit.
I like the Lions tomorrow night too.
Man, I tell you what, just keep your eye on that squad.
And make sure you have your Lions hat. I want you to have the winner of that game's hat on Friday morning.
Okay, well that will happen. I have both. Right. The Lions are getting 5 points. The Lions are getting 5. It's about Jared Goff, right? But they're better at every position. They're better at every position. But Jared Goff has to play well for Detroit. I don't see why he will. He won't. I think he'll be fine. We'll talk about it on Friday, QB.
All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline. Going to take a quick timeout. We're going to come back. We'll be joined by one of our new sponsors at F45, Ben Ludwig. He'll tell us about what's going on there at F45. We're going to get JC in shape. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave and Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Attention all Gator fans, Meldon Law is giving away a chance to experience the Florida-Georgia game like never before. 2-night stay at the Hilton on the River, dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 premium tickets to the game, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier, and much more. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page and look for the VIP experience for 2. Good luck and go Gators!
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. All right, we're going to head back to the Titan MR hotline, and we're joined by Ben Ludwig, who's the owner of F45, one of our new sponsors over in Celebration Point. Good morning, Ben. How you doing, my man?
I'm fantastic, Shane. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being part of our program. Let everybody know what F45 is all about.
Absolutely. So F45 is a team training, life-changing fitness program. So that's our motto. You come into classes. We are personal training in a group setting. It's community-based. It's fun. It's functional. So functional just simply means that it helps you to be able to be better at all the things that you do in your daily life. So picking up the kids, tying your shoes, being able to go for a long walk, it just makes everything better. So that's what F45 is all about.
And it's, I assume you get everything done within 45 minutes?
That is correct. Yes. All of our workouts are 45 minutes. We do have a special workout every Saturday that is 60 minutes long, but all the rest of our programming is 45 minutes. Yes.
Okay. And then there's different type of classes that people can take. Not every class is the same, right?
Yeah, that's part of the beauty of F45, Shane, is every class is different. We have strength-focused workouts. We have cardio-focused workouts. We have hybrid workouts. But I think the coolest part about it is the headquarters of F45 franchise has an athletics team that builds out workouts based on progression of exercise. So it's science-backed. So it's obviously great for you, but it's also fun. So there's always new challenges that come out from headquarters. They're always evolving the workouts to be a little different than previous. So there's over 4,000 exercises in the database that they utilize to build these workouts. So not only is it changing up the workouts throughout the week, but you'll also never do the same workout twice, which is pretty cool.
That is cool. So for a guy who's 53 years old, whose body's been beat up playing sports his whole life, what kind of workout for me, for example, I work out a little bit. I'm not crazy, but what kind of workout would you have me doing at F45?
Yeah, so that's part of the cool part of F45, Shane. I remember the first time that I ever took an F45 workout myself, I fell in love with it because, I'm also kind of in a similar position to you. I've done a lot of heavy lifting. I was in sports growing up, and I've got some injuries. And so for me, the traditional kind of bodybuilding was my style. So I thought, F45 is going to be easy, right? Just, cardio stuff. First of all, I got my butt kicked. And second of all, I got my butt kicked next to a lady that was in her 60s that was doing the workout with me, So I took a step back and went, okay, there's got to be something to this. And sure enough, years later, Here we are opening up a new location here in Celebration Point, and what I can tell you is the workouts, they challenge you, not just because of the workouts, but also because of the coaches. So the coaches make it fun. They keep you engaged. They challenge you. They motivate you, but they also make sure that you're safe and effective. So I think the coaching has a lot to do with how much fun and how effective the program is, just as much as the actual workout itself.
George on the Titan MR text line says, I know you're located in Celebration Point, but exactly where?
Yeah, so 4871 Celebration Point. So it's right there on the corner of Celebration Point and Southwest 45th, across the street from Dave & Buster's, if you're familiar with the area.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, and then we have a Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law. Andy asks, Ben, do you offer any family memberships?
We have memberships for everybody. So there's all different types available. So my best advice for you is we actually are running a promotion right now to where your first class is free. So if you go to f45training.com/swamptown, or look us up on Instagram, F45 Swamptown, Facebook, same thing. Wherever you'll find us, there'll be a chance for you to be able to grab that first class on us. So come try it, see what it's all about, make sure it's the right fit for you. And as long as you love it, we've got tons of membership options available.
We got another question here on the Titan MR text line saying, do any of the Gator athletes or coaches work out at F45?
So all I'll say is, why don't you come on and see for yourself? But yeah, we've got a very broad array of people, and there's some familiar faces around F45 Swamptown. I will say that.
So it's F45 Swamptown?
That's correct. Yes.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. All right. So before we let you go, anything else you want to let our listeners know? We appreciate you being part of our program, but give us the website again and what you recommend if someone has never really worked out a lot, what they need to do.
Absolutely. So first piece of advice I'll give to all your listeners, Shane, is just try it. Whether you haven't really worked out in a long time and you're timid about going to the gym, or whether you're someone that's been working out for a long time and you're just kind of bored with your routine, F45 has something to offer you. So come try us out, see what it's all about. We'll touch base with you on your fitness goals. We'll talk you through and give you an orientation when you show up. So no matter where you're at on the spectrum of fitness, we'll be able to step you into your first workout and make sure that you're comfortable with it. The second thing is, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, yep. Second thing is I was going to give everybody just a reminder. So f45training.com/swamptown is the website. If you look us up on Instagram or Facebook, it's F45 Swamptown. You'll find us there, and the trial offer is on all of our sites, our website, our social media tags as well.
All right. Is it the same time the workouts every day? I think that's one thing that people would like to know. I would as well. What time is your first workout, and is it that same time every day?
Yeah, so it varies just a little bit. If you go to our website, our class schedule is going to be on all of our sites as well. So we start pretty early in the morning, around 5 a.m. We have morning blocks of classes. We've got lunchtime classes, and then we've got evening classes. So yeah, you've got options throughout the day. We also have weekend workouts as well. We do Saturday morning and Sunday morning workouts. So you've got a pretty broad array of workouts to take advantage of.
All right. Well, good stuff. We appreciate you being a part of our program. I'm going to get over there and try one of these workouts if I can handle it for 45 minutes. And we'll see what happens. Ben, we appreciate you joining the program, and hopefully we'll send some folks your way.
Sounds great. Love to have you, Shane.
All right, my man. That's Ben Ludwig, the owner of F45 Swamptown. Go check it out. You got all the information. If you want to go get a good workout, go try them out. We're going to take another quick time out. Come back. I got 1 million texts and Facebooks and YouTube questions to get to. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. Reggie says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, he's done F45 for about 2 months, says they're pretty intense workouts. If you don't work out that much, pretty much nonstop. Reggie, if you go to that, well, it's the only one in town, I think. Tell them you're a PodUp listener. Maybe they'll give you a discount. So anyway, we want to thank Ben Ludwig and JC for joining us on the Titan More hotline. Quality Plumbing are our sponsor for our questions on YouTube. And Bayshore asks, what was more surprising or disappointing, losses by ranked LSU, Clemson, and TCU, or Florida? A lot of overreactions. Florida will be fine this year and win 8 games, he says. Florida was very disappointing. I said that multiple times on the broadcast. I was extremely disappointed. But LSU lost to a very good Florida State team. TCU is not the same team, obviously, but give Colorado credit. I would say Clemson, the way they lost, turning the ball over, going in on the 3-yard line, fumbling, missing a 19-yard field goal, getting a punt blocked. Give Duke credit, though. Duke's a good football team with a very good quarterback. But I would go Clemson would be my pick there. Shane, that's me. Andy says, Shane, why are guys like Princely and LSU's Harold Perkins dropping in coverage and spying the QB instead of pressuring the QB? It depends on what defense is called, and then according to that formation, they have a responsibility of whichever receiver that comes their way, they may have to drop into coverage. I think Utah did a good job getting Princely in coverage, and same way with FSU against LSU. You could call a defense where they just rush the passer, and that's their only responsibility. But I don't know LSU's scheme well enough. But Princely is a guy who will be dropping into coverage. We need him to play better for sure and get after the passer. Chris says he believes the travel change affected the Gators last week. That's an excuse you can use. It was not ideal, I will say that. But again, I go back and everybody, for every game, whether you win or lose, you can pick 5 or 6 things that won you the game or cost you the game. I don't like doing it, but it's a fact. And that's why I say most of Florida's stuff is correctable because it happened before the ball was snapped. It had nothing to do with talent, strength, speed, scheme, or any of that stuff. It had to do with having the right amount of players on the field. That can be fixed. Telling your punt returner, put your heels on the 7. I believe that's how they teach it now. Some people back in the day it was the 10. Do not back up and catch the punt. That's fixable. Make sure they're not duplicate numbers on the field at the same time. Very fixable. And 3rd and 1s, false start penalties. Those are going to happen, but I wouldn't think we'd have 5 or 6 of them again. So that's why I was so disappointed. I didn't think we would make those mistakes, but it is what it is. It's over with and done. We can't do it again. And we need to come out and put a ton of points on the board and get ready for Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's a world beater. I don't think they're the same team as they were last year. And they got to come to our ballpark. So we'll see. Dan says Duke had 2 turnovers too. Yeah, Duke deserved to win the game. Coach Spurrier was there. They had a little celebration for, I think, his '89 ACC championship team. By the way, he, myself, and Steve Russell will be doing Inside the Huddle today. Normally we do it on Tuesdays. We're doing it today because Coach was traveling. Cliff says, do you think we got pushed around the trenches on both sides? I don't. I mean, you're not going to win every battle. But again, my eyes told me that a lot of times, I mean, we got beat in pass protection a few times. Yes, that happens. But in the run game, I just felt like we were outnumbered a lot of times. Greg says, how did our front 7 do? I don't think they were terrible. I would like to see more pressure on the quarterback. But Utah's a good football team. I don't care who they were missing. It's a well-coached football team where their staff has been there for 20-something years. They have the culture built. And remember, they've won a championship in their league the last 2 years. So we just got to regroup and go play. Jason says on YouTube, which is brought to you by Quality Plumbing, if the pre-snap stuff and dumb mistakes don't clean up, it will be Billy's undoing. I agree with that. I agree with that. Florida Boy says a lot of self-inflicted errors, which is correctable. They out-disciplined us, nothing to do with talent. I agree with that as well. Keith says Colorado versus Colorado State will get game day. Maybe they will. I don't know. Jason also says Mert's going to throw for 400 this week, asking me. I mean, I don't know how long he'll be in the game, but I would love to see us go up tempo a little bit. I would really love to see us go 4 wides. I don't know if we've ever done that since Billy's been our head coach. I think we've always played with a tight end at some point. So would love to go 4 wides. Let's go 5 wides. Won't hurt. All right, this day in sports brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. This day in sports, back in 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. breaks Lou Gehrig's record playing in his 2,131 straight game. I don't remember how many he ended up playing straight, which is crazy. But that's brought to you by our good friends at Campus USA Credit Union. Tomorrow we'll have Brent Beard on the program. We'll probably have Mike Rideout talk a little high school sports as well. And there was another text I had to get to here. Let me find it. This is from Brett in Jacksonville. He says, how about getting Mizell to get more touches? Well, he didn't get any touches. I don't even know if he played. I do like him, but as I said, I would start the game and I would stay with these guys on the field 1, 3, and 4. That's Douglas, Wilson, Pearsall. If they run a go route or a post and they're tired, just go off on the sideline, somebody else come on. But I would play those 3 until they couldn't go anymore. That's what I would do. Brandon asked, do we know how to go tempo? That's a great question. Don't know. I know they practice it. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed today's program. Again, if you missed it, Ben Shelton, phenomenal match last night. Will be playing in the semifinals as the youngest American against Djokovic. And I think y'all said that's Friday. And then Mr. Two Bits for this game is Fred Biondi, your individual national champ, along with the rest of the national champ men's golf team will be honored at this game. As Tony said, wear your swinging Gator shirts. I may have to do that myself. I got one of those new Peter Millars with the swinging Gator on it, and they're pretty cool for sure. So should be a lot of fun. Regardless if it's McNeese State, there's you only get to do it 6 times, folks. Everybody bitches and complains about reducing capacity, and I know there's a ton of tickets. I understand it's McNeese State, but remember, you only get 6 times in a year to come to campus if you live out somewhere else, to see people that you went to college with, see friends, see family. And it's just a great experience to tailgate and go to the ball.